Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning for those of you in the USA. My name is Mike Alcock. I'd just like to thank Tom for looking after the housekeeping there, but we're ready to go with today's webinar. And we will make a start on this straight away. So we're talking today about Gomo Learning, transform your learning strategy in retail. Quick introductions. I know that some of you have been talking to Tom and Hugh online, but just so you know who we are, I'm the guy in the middle there, Mike Alcock, Managing Director of Gomo Learning. I'll be running this session today. Joining me on the call and answering the questions as you type them in is Hugh Edwards, Solution Architect for Gomo Learning. And in the US, we have Tom Tate on the right there, Business Development Manager for Gomo Learning. Tom will also be monitoring the questions, so feel free to type them into the question panel in GoToWebinar. Tom and Hugh will answer the questions as best they can. Feel free to type at any point during the presentation. It won't interrupt me, and at the end of the presentation, Tom's going to come on and perhaps just share a few of the more interesting questions and answers that have come up as a result of today's webinar. So without further ado, we'll make a start. I see some familiar faces on the webinar today, but we do have a few people who don't know us. So a quick bit of background about Gomo. Who are we? We believe we're the world's leading cloud-based responsive HTML5 e-learning authoring tool. We offer integrated hosting and analytics, and we also offer a native app capability. Our customers tend to be global organizations. You don't have to be. We've got lots of small to medium enterprises and smaller e-learning companies using the product, but global organizations tend to get the most out of a product like Gomo. It really suits the needs of global companies like Nike, Volvo, Jaguar Land Rover, British Airways, and the other names that you see on the screen today. We win lots of awards. Brandon Hall gave us gold in 2015, Best Advance in Content Authoring Technology. Craig Weiss, the world's most influential e-learning blogger, rates us as a top 5 authoring tool in the world. And in Europe, Fosway, Europe's leading independent HR analyst, they have us as their leading core leader in the authoring tools sector. We are also part of a bigger group, so it's not just Gomo in the group. There are lots of other companies. Leo is one of the world's largest e-learning production houses, and they produce lots of fabulous content in Gomo. I'll be showing you examples of that later on today. Uclea look after financial services sector e-learning. Preloaded are a games with purpose company. Rustici are the company that look after the e-learning standards SCORM and XAPI, and big parts of their technology stack are making their way into Gomo as we speak. Watershed is probably the world's leading learning record store, and again we're working on an integration of Gomo and Watershed. And our most recent acquisition was Net Dimensions, a learning management systems company, and again we're working now on a direct integration of Gomo and Net Dimensions. Who are our retail customers? Well, I was just sort of browsing through our customer list the other day, and I thought I'd just grab some of the themes and images and screenshots from some of the retail projects and retail customers that we're working on, and it really is a who's who of retail and global brands. So we have people like Burberry, Dunhill, Nike, Volvo, Jaguar, EE, O2, Sky Vodka, L'Oreal, Godiva, Dyson, Aperol, Appleton, Superdrug. So a real who's who of retailers are benefiting massively from the use of Gomo, and I'll be showing you examples of what they're doing with Gomo later in the presentation. So I won't spend too long on this. I think most people will probably understand the benefits of e-learning in retail, but these are the key things that we've seen when we talk to our customers and find out what it was that motivated them to invest in Gomo. Big one is reduced training costs. No need for away days, no need for face-to-face sessions that could be expensive, especially in terms of not just time and money organising the events, but also opportunity cost. Your people aren't selling when they're on a training course. You can keep employees up to date with the latest products and services. A good example of this one is Burberry, who can update their global workforce instantly with the latest collections every quarter. We get reports of improved employee retention. So well-informed employees, well-trained companies tend to stay, employees tend to stay longer with their businesses than poorly trained and poorly informed workers. We also see increased sales and customer satisfaction. Clearly, learners and employees who are well versed in their company's products and services can do a better job of selling those products and services. And that leads to increased sales because they're very knowledgeable employees, and also increased customer satisfaction. And I can attest to this. I've been in sales for 25 years, longer than I care to remember now. And I enjoy a good retail sales experience. I enjoy it when a very well-informed and knowledgeable retail salesperson is doing a good selling job on me and presenting all of the information and closing the deal with me. I think it's a real mark of professionalism to come out of a shop feeling very happy, having been sold to professionally. And of course, it gives their employees information when and where they need it most. So we're delivering at point of sale to our retail customers. And I'll show you some examples of that in a moment. What are the challenges? Why have retail organisations in the past not necessarily embraced e-learning? Loads of different challenges we see, and these are all areas that Gomo can help in. So a lot of organisations have got big old clunky LMSs with very long deployment times. It takes them a long time to get content out through their LMS to their learners. A lot of them, before they had Gomo, were wrestling with desktop authoring tools, which really put the brakes on their team-based development. Very hard for them to develop content with geographically dispersed teams. Oops, click the wrong button there, I do apologise. And finally, a big one, limited IT infrastructure, a limited number of PCs or Wi-Fi available in store. So a lot of retailers will have a scruffy little back room with maybe one old PC on a very slow connection to head office. So very difficult to get e-learning content out into the hands of learners. However, things have changed. Every employee now, you can guarantee, every single employee, every millennial, every 16 to 24-year-old that works in a shop is guaranteed to have a smartphone in their hand. They've now got a platform that you can use to deliver content to people. And retailers are taking a lead there. The latest research I've seen shows that 58% of retailers now support a bring your own device policy, as opposed to 45% in other industries. And we expect to see that increase as they start to use these as a delivery mechanism for e-learning. And if you're going to deliver e-learning to your learners on their smartphones, then I believe that responsive design really matters. And Gomo is a responsive HTML5 e-learning authoring tool. You build a course in Gomo and it fills the screen, any device, any screen size, any orientation. So there's one of the Jaguar Land Rover courses running on the iPhone on the left. Lots of authoring tools can't do this. Many of them will take a PowerPoint type slide and squish it down into a third of a screen. Which, in my humble opinion, is just unacceptable from a learning perspective, from a usability perspective. You can't read the text, you can't really see the buttons, it's hard to navigate, it's using barely a third of the screen capital. I can't think of any decent retailer that produces a website that behaves like this, and yet people are still prepared to push out e-learning to their learners of this very poor standard. Investing in a responsive authoring tool like Gomo just clears those problems out and gives your learners the quality of learning that they deserve. So, question time. How many of you actually have a bring your own device policy? I'll just have a look. If you could type your answers into the question panel now, we'll see the answers coming through. I'll pop those up onto the screen. So what proportion of the people on this webinar have got a bring your own device policy at work? I can see the answers coming through now, and it looks like we haven't got a survey in here, but I'm going to say it's about 50-50 looking at the answers. So yes, no, thinking about it, probably going to do it, yes, no, yes, no. So probably about 50% at the moment. So that's 50% of you with a bring your own device policy, which means that you can start to deliver e-learning out to those devices. We'll have a quick look at a case study in the first instance, and then we'll go and have a look at the tool in practice. So one of our biggest users of Gomo is EE, the mobile phone company. I'm going to pause the video there. I think everybody in the UK will be fed up with the Kevin Bacon adverts, but that's one of their TV adverts at the moment. So EE they run the fastest and biggest mobile network in the UK. They were the 4G pioneers, rolling out super fast 4G in October 2012, and their coverage is now available to 99% of the population. They had a challenge. They had 25,000 staff who weren't engaging as much as they wanted with their traditional previous e-learning material. It was created either externally by a bureau or internally using a very complicated, costly and time-consuming process. So they really weren't happy with what they were able to achieve with their old e-learning infrastructure. Learners had to be taken away from tasks to participate in the learning. It was long and text-heavy, and it led to poor response rates. However, using Gomo has meant that they could rapidly streamline their learning content. So they've implemented a micro-learning approach, which we've seen more and more commonly now with our customers, and revitalized their content, made it highly interactive. They've used our Gomo question bank facility to avoid cheating in assessments, so we can randomize the quizzes that the users see. And they've been able to make their changes available instantly through Gomo Central and the Gomo hosting products. So what used to take them 5 days with their traditional e-learning product can now be done in a matter of hours. And so that gives massive return on investment for the EE board. The analytics provide a level of reporting that didn't exist before, so they've got far greater details on what they're seeing within the analytics program, and they've also got a cloud-based authoring tool now, and that means that their design team, who are scattered across the country, can work together far more efficiently. They can collaborate on building and delivering their e-learning modules. So as of March 2017 just gone, they now have 82% of their staff actively participating in ongoing learning. They're producing far more content with Gomo, and the EE staff are actively engaging in the learning without being prompted to. And they're now consuming an average of 14 minutes a day on their e-learning, a massive turnaround for EE. And March 2017 is actually the 1-year anniversary of EE purchasing Gomo. So they've seen a massive return on investment on their first year's spend on their Gomo licenses. So this is the Gomo architecture. I'm going to go into the demo in a moment, but let's talk about the architecture and how it's helping companies like EE and others not only create their e-learning faster, but also deliver it highly efficiently into the hands of their learners. So looking at the architecture diagram, everything on the left is the authoring tool and everything on right is hosting and analytics. So from an authoring perspective, it's very simple. You just log in through a web browser. Nothing to download, nothing to install. You're not working on your own. You can work collaboratively, work with your colleagues, whether they're next door or 100 miles away or even in another country. You can collaborate. We've got team-based development in there. We've got full workflow built in to support that. When you need to get your courses reviewed and signed off by your boss or stakeholder, you can invite them to log in and add their comments directly to the course pages. No more spreadsheets, no more email trails, get the comments directly on the page. We do have the traditional publish to SCORM option, so you can publish a course out of Gomo completely disconnected and upload it to any commercial SCORM 1.2 LMS, such as Net Dimensions. Other LMSs are available, of course. However, that's not really the clever way to do it, and it's not the way most of our retail customers are doing it, because they've taken Gomo hosting and analytics. So instead of hitting publish to SCORM, they're publishing across to the Gomo hosting server. And from here, you've got all of these different methods to deliver content to learners. You can still go through your traditional LMS, but you do it in a completely different way with Gomo hosting. We have a unique bit of technology called the Gomo LMS wrapper. Instead of sending your Net Dimensions or SumTotal or Cornerstone or whichever LMS, you've got a 200 megabyte zip file, you can send it instead the Gomo LMS wrapper. This is a micro file. It's about 12 or 13 kilobytes typically. This allows you to embed your course in the LMS and then dynamically update it from Gomo. So this file is a SCORM file, but it's empty. It doesn't contain the video and the audio and the images. They all stay on the Gomo server, so it's looking back at Gomo to consume the course. The beauty of this is if you've uploaded a course to the LMS, in the first instance, the upload is tiny. It's 13 kilobytes instead of 200 megabytes. But immediately it goes live in your LMS, you get the phone call saying, oh, that course you've uploaded, you've got the wrong video on page 5, there's a spelling mistake on page 10. With most authoring tools, you go back and repair the course and rezip, rescorm, re-FTP, republish. With Gomo, you don't have to do that. This course is in the LMS, it's looking back at Gomo. All you do is overwrite the course in Gomo and the LMS will instantly see the changes. And those changes, that applies to any of these distribution methods. So the minute you update the course here, it's instantly updated in all of your delivery platforms. A good example of this and a real user of this is Burberry. Burberry were one of the first Gomo customers. They really liked the authoring tool when they saw it, so they bought Gomo. And this was back in the days when we didn't have the hosting and analytics platform, so we only had the 4 circles on the left. We only had the authoring tool. So they were pushing the usual big SCORM files into their corporate LMS. We then invented the hosting and analytics, and I rang Burberry up, said, guys, we've got this hosting analytics, it's going to change your lives. And they said, it's okay, Mike, we've got an LMS, don't bother, we're fine, thanks very much. And it took me 6 months of phone calls. Eventually, I got in to see them, I dropped an LMS wrapper file into their LMS, and I demoed the products, and they were watching in almost disbelief. They're saying, are you showing us here, Mike, that we can update a course that's live in our LMS in less than 30 seconds? I said, yes, that's exactly what Gomo Hosting Analytics and the LMS wrapper gives you. They said, that takes us 3 weeks at the moment. How much is it? When can we buy it? Can we switch it on tomorrow? So they went from updating content in their LMS 3 weeks before they needed to being able to do it literally minutes before they needed to do. So if they want to get the autumn collection out and update all of their stores globally with the latest new fashions and trends that they're going to be selling over the weekend, they've still got a 3-week improvement on how long they can be building those courses for. So from 3 weeks to 30 seconds, just to give you an idea of the power of this for retailers. We do provide all of these other distribution methods as well, so we can generate direct links, of course. So if you just want to email a course to a cohort of students, or tweet it, or Facebook, or LinkedIn, you can do that. We can embed Gomo courses in any web page, so we generate an embed code. So if you want to put a Gomo course in your website or on your intranet, you can do that. We have our own launch and track portal called Gomo Central. We're seeing lots of retail customers using this. Jaguar Land Rover use it for their pre-induction. They've got learners who aren't employees yet. They don't have a Jaguar Land Rover email address, but they want them to log in somewhere, take the courses, and sort of pre-screen them, so they can do that through Gomo Central. And then a really interesting application here is the Gomo Central native app. This allows you to consume content when you're disconnected from the internet. So you can download your Gomo courses to the Gomo Central native app and then have them available on your mobile devices when they're disconnected. So the idea here is that as a retailer, a really good example of this one is Jaguar Land Rover. I'll show you the electronic pocket guides that they're using here in a moment. But they're able to have these courses preloaded onto their iPads in the stores, and then if the customer comes and says they want to look at the Jaguar on the forecourt, the salesperson goes out with them. They're now out of Wi-Fi range. It doesn't matter. They can still open up the iPad and show the customer all the latest and greatest features of the F-Type or the X-Type. So the app is a really fabulous method to get content out to learners when they're disconnected from the internet. With all of these distribution methods, you get Gomo's X-API analytics. So you will also see dashboards like this where you can see things like device type analysis. So most LMSs don't know what device learners are on. Gomo does. You can see if they're on smartphones or tablets, and also individual question and answer reporting. So in an LMS, most LMSs would tell you that Mike took the course yesterday, passed the quiz and scored 75%. Gomo can tell you that Mike took the course yesterday, he was on a smartphone, he scored 75%, and he actually got question 3 wrong in the quiz. And that might be the clue to improving learning outcomes. If every learner gets question 3 wrong, Maybe question 3 is the problem, maybe the question's badly formatted, maybe you've got the wrong video in there. So again, all of these methods get Gomo's X-API analytics, even when the course is in an LMS. So it's now time for a demo of Gomo. I'm logged into Gomo through my web browser. That's all I need. I can actually log into Gomo on a tablet or a smartphone and publish courses and make edits and so on, but I'm on my laptop today, obviously, for the webinar. I've got access to both products, authoring and hosting. We'll have a look at authoring first. This is where you build your courses. So this is my Gomo instance. And in fact, the presentation I'm running today is this one here. So I do all my presentations in Gomo, no PowerPoint in our business. And if I click on any of these projects, I can open it and start working on any of these projects. But if I just want to create a brand new project for today's webinar, I'll just build one. And we've got a quick start wizard, and this allows me to get a course started in just 4 steps. So what should we call this name? We'll call it Retail Today, just for the purpose of the demo. I can choose where my resources are going to sit, so which folder do I want to upload images and videos to. I can then choose the language. We've got a really powerful multilingual capability in Gomo. You don't have to build 5 courses, you know, products English, products French, products Spanish, products German. You can build 1 course and it can have as many languages in it as you like. And we drop in a language selector on the front end so that learners can switch between the various languages. So really powerful if you're delivering content globally, which a lot of our customers are doing, especially people like Volvo. Next, choose the theme. Themes control the look and feel of your courses. And themes are completely independent of content. The beauty of this is if you've built 100 courses in Gomo and your company decides on a rebrand, all you've got to do is update the theme. 100 courses will instantly pick up the new look and feel, brand, color, logos. The other big benefit of themes is they are fabulous for design consistency. You can give Gomo to your subject matter experts, tell them to use a particular theme, and the course is going to come out on brand with the right colors, fonts, logos, everything you set up as your corporate brand. And obviously when we're dealing with organizations like Burberry and L'Oreal and Nike, they've got incredibly strong brand guidelines, and they don't want people going into their e-learning products and picking their own dodgy fonts, themes, colors, etc. Next, choose the, so we can look at, for today's demo, I'm going to choose the material design theme. That's our newest theme. It's based on Google's material design guidelines. But just scrolling down here, we also have a custom theme development service. We've done themes for people like Dunhill, Nike, Burberry, British Airways, you name it, all of these customers, Fitness First, PwC, Accenture, Volvo, FCO, KPMG, BBC, you name it, we've done themes for them. But we'll stick with the material design theme for the purpose of this demo. Next, choose the structure of your course. So what do you want in it? Well, I'll have a menu. We'll have 3 topics. Help glossary. I'm going to ask for an exit button and a search button. And then last step in the wizard is choose which of my colleagues are going to work with me on this particular project. Because Gomo's in the cloud, I can build a course on my own, of course, but I can work very easily with Hugh, Tom, and all of my colleagues anywhere in the world. A really powerful capability of Gomo here, team-based authoring, no more desktop tools, no more installations, and no more Fred's on holiday, so we can't see that course he was working on, and we've got to wait for 2 weeks till he gets back. Now, while that's churning away and building that course for me, we'll have a look at some examples of Gomo content in retail. First one I'm going to show you is Jaguar Land Rover. I mentioned these earlier on. This is the Jaguar F-Pace. They have an electronic pocket guide like this for every Jaguar model. And this is delivered in their retail outlets on iPads, and it's using the Gomo Central native app so that the sales staff can be away from Wi-Fi and still have access to all of this detailed information, including all of the latest and greatest product videos and everything else that they need, so that when the consumer comes in, who's very well informed usually, they've got even more information at their fingertips than the average consumer. like so. So really fabulous looking, beautiful courses that work perfectly on desktop, tablet and smartphone. We'll have a look at something a little bit different now. Ferrero Rocher, this is their internal training, all about their supply chain, so a completely different one. This is less of a sales tool, more of an internal messaging tool, if you like, around their supply chain. I apologize if you can't hear the audio, it's actually coming out through my headset, but it's all in there. And if the video looks a bit juddery, I can assure you it's running perfectly on my PC, but it may be a little bit juddery just going through the GoToWebinar software. Something completely different again for all you chocolate lovers. This is Godiva. Chocolatiers, again, internal training, all about history of chocolate, chocolate culture, chocolate and the Industrial Revolution and the Belgian connection. So again, employee training so they can learn all about the history of Godiva and their fabulous products. This one uses deep vertical scrolling, really nice way to present information, very popular amongst our customers these days. Slightly different example from Godiva. This is one of their little promotional courses for Valentine's Day 2017. So this is a great example of product knowledge training, getting information out to all of their retail stores so that the employees can be very familiar with what's on offer at the probably busiest time of the year, maybe apart from Christmas, for a retailer. So they've got access to the latest and greatest product information, and they can familiarize themselves with all of the new offers and products, and even test their skills. And I've not done this course, so I don't know exactly what what all of the collections are at the moment, but hopefully you get an idea. So product knowledge training, dynamic, instantly delivered out to their employees before Valentine's Day, so they're all up to speed on the latest and greatest products that they're going to be selling. Superdrug, this is some regulatory training, all about how they can do promotions, what they're allowed and not allowed to do. Again, pretty basic, show and tell and a quiz. We can embed videos in Gomo, so I think that video comes in from YouTube. Again, very nice looking content. And then different again, Appleton product knowledge. So this is Appleton Estate. And I think Tom knows a lot about this because he used to run a liquor store in the USA, so he'll be familiar with a lot of these. I'm sure he'll berate me for that later on, but here's all of their latest products, the latest rums from the Appleton Estate. There's the 50-year-old, probably one of the best. And again, lovely course, beautiful graphics, and a great looking thing to give to your employees to get them enthused about the brand and also about what they're going to be selling. So there's just a few examples of Gomo content in retail. And we'll go back now to Gomo and we'll have a look at the course. So there's the course I started building a few moments ago, Retail Today. I asked for a menu, 3 topics, help, glossary, and an exit button. At the top I've got my header navigation, at the bottom I've got my footer navigation. Everything's configurable. If I don't want the progress bar down at the bottom there, I can remove it and place it up at the top. So I'll just do that. And I've clicked onto topic 1 because I'm now going to edit some screens in here, and you can see there it's locked by me. So this is locked by Mike Alcock, but the menu, topic 2 and topic 3, the help and the glossary are all open. So any of my colleagues could log in and work on topic 2 and topic 3. So we can work together as a team. And clearly we can't let anyone else in topic 1 because I might be reordering the slides there and we can't have it getting confused, but anybody could work on topics 2 and 3. So this is Gomo authoring. This is where you spend most of your time in Gomo when you're building content. Down the left is the navigator. That's the list of screens in this topic. I'm just going to delete screen 2. We don't need that for today. I've got the assets panel next to it. So if I wanted to bring in video, audio, presentation assets, or quiz question assets, then I can just grab them from here and drag them onto the stage in the middle there. In the middle, I've got my preview window, so I can see roughly how this course is going to look. And on the right-hand side, we've got the properties panel. And that's dynamic. It changes as I select items on the page. And I've selected this content block here in the middle. And you can see on the right there, it's a two-column layout. What that means is on desktop and tablet, these two will sit next to each other. On a smartphone, Gomo will drop the right-hand content block here below the left-hand content block. That's how we get a multi-device, mobile-friendly course from a single authoring effort. We don't have to design specifically for desktop, tablet, and smartphone. I don't have to do 5 layouts when I'm building a course here. We just do once, and Gomo automatically takes care of it. So we'll go into topic 1, and we'll call this Introduction to Gomo. Oops. Like so. Notice I just double click there, I typed in the text, and I didn't have to worry about the font or the color or the point size. That's all handled by the theme. So when you give Gomo to a subject matter expert, you don't have to make them designers. They can just drop in the content that you want to see within your courses. I've double clicked on the image on the right hand side there because I want to replace that, and I can have a list or a thumbnail view of my image library. I can search through, don't need to because I'm just going to grab the Gomo Learning logo, and I'll align that to the right hand side of this page. That's enough for the first page of this presentation. I'm going to add a second screen now. We'll add a screen from a template this time. Templates are predefined layouts, and these allow me to build up quite complicated screens really quickly. So I'm going to do a screen about our offices, so we'll call it our offices, like so. Oops, I've made a mistake there, sorry, just let me delete that screen, I must have picked the wrong one. Live demos, let me add a screen again. So add a screen from template, I wanted a hotspot image, there we are. Not a hot text. That's more like it. So this screen is going to be called Our Offices. Whoops. We'll drop in a world map, and I'll make this screen interactive so that learners can click onto the map, and we'll see what they reveal as we go through. So I'll go for a thumbnail view again. There's my world map. I could search through for the word world if I wanted to as well. But we'll now go to the subscreens, and hotspot 1 is my first subscreen. Subscreens are where we can reveal information to the learner. So we'll make this subscreen all about the Brighton office. I'm going to drop in an image of Brighton. You can see here it's all drag and drop. Just drag in the image holder, double click, and I'll go and search for an image of Brighton. And we'll grab Brighton Pier there. And then we'll also actually call this subscreen Brighton so you can see it coming through in a moment. So back to the navigator, and we'll just drop in a screen about the New York office. So New York. And again, I'll drop in an image of Manhattan, like so. Just drag it across, double click. Again, I could search for Manhattan. I could upload Manhattan into here. In this case, I'll now got an image of Manhattan handy down there. And I'll just do something a little bit different here. I'll have Manhattan fading in. We won't have a delay, but we'll have a 5-second fade. And I'm going to make this particular subscreen a pop-up screen like so. Now if we go back to the world map, and I double click on the map, I can set up the interactivity. So screen 1 was for Brighton. So I'll have that over the UK like so. Screen 2 was for the New York office, so we'll have that over the USA. And screen 3 we've not done anything with yet. I'll just stick it over here. But if I go back to screen 1 and look at the action associated with that hotspot, it's going to show the Brighton subscreen. That's what I want it to do. That's perfect. So I'll leave that as it is, but down here you can see the other actions here. So I could say actually if the learner clicks or touches the UK, open a web page, open a PDF, jump to a different screen, send an email, play some audio, set an image, set a variable. So there's a load of power under the hood here to make your courses as interactive and as non-linear as you want them to be. Let's add one more screen. I won't go much further than this because we're on a limited time today, obviously, for the webinar, but we'll just drop in a quick multiple choice question. So we'll ask the learner, where is our head office? Head office, whoops. Question mark. Configure the quiz. So we'll get 3 choices. Option 1 we'll say is London. Option 2 can be Brighton, which will be the correct answer. And option 3 is New York. I'll set Brighton to be correct, and I want to give the learner the correct feedback if they pick that answer, and some incorrect feedback if they don't. And on the right hand side of this page, I'm going to delete the image because I want to have a video as a distractor here. So I'll just grab the video player, double click, and we'll get a video in, and we'll go for City Nights. That's all good, so I'll save those changes, and then we can preview the course. And one of the really nice features of Gomo is the ability to preview your courses across all the different device types inside a web browser. I can also share the project. So I'll put my sharing link on, and that generates a QR code. I'll bring this up again in a moment. So if any of you have got your smartphones or tablets handy, if you want to get them out of your pockets and fire up your QR code reader, the course that I've just built, and it took me about 10 minutes to build that, can be on your device in around the next minute or two. And this is really great for testing. I tend to use it for testing courses on my smartphone or tablet just before I stick them on Facebook or LinkedIn when I'm promoting video. So there's that course. It's got a menu and 3 topics. We've got the Gomo Learning logo and a video coming in from YouTube there. Topic 1 was the introduction to Gomo with the Gomo Learning logo on the right. Topic 2 was the world map, where we had Brighton when we clicked on the UK, and New York fading in over 5 seconds when we clicked on the US. And screen 3 was our head office. Where's our head office? It was Brighton, and confirm, and we had the video on the right hand side of the page. So that looks pretty good for 10 minutes effort. How does it look on a tablet? How's it going to look on an iPad, for example? Well, it's going to look like this. So I can test it on my iPad while I'm in my web browser. Everything's looking good on an iPad. What about on a smartphone? And you can see here on a smartphone, it's now dropped the video down below the quiz, but the text is big enough to read. The buttons are big enough to hit with my fingers. The confirm button's big enough. I've got finger-friendly icons. I've got a finger-friendly table of contents. Everything's mobile ready. If I spin the phone round in my hand, then the course flips around as well. So everything's ready for mobile devices. We're not forcing you to hold the phone on its side. You can just work in the way you would expect to work. Go back to desktop. And for those of you who've managed to dig out your QR code readers, I'll just put the QR code on the screen, and if you point your reader at that, the course that I've just built will jump onto your smartphone or tablet, and you'll be able to see it. And when you get it there, have a go at spinning the phone round in your hand, and you'll see how the course responds and adapts. The other thing you should notice as well is that the course fills your device. And when I was building the course, I didn't have to say it's an iPhone or it's an iPad or it's landscape or it's portrait. I just built the content as well. I'm going to try and show you it on my device now, so hopefully if all this technology works. There's my iPad. Oops, I've just pointed my QR code reader at the course, and there it is. There's the course I just built a few seconds ago. It's live on my iPad. I'm going to content topic 1. There it is. There's my world map. Clicking on Brighton, clicking on New York. I'm using swipe gestures. You can't see that here, but I'm swiping between the screens like so. And if I turn my iPad around in my hand, of course it's Gomo. Everything's perfect. Everything works perfectly. If it's on a smartphone, it would all look absolutely fabulous as well. And I can turn the device around again, and I'm back to my landscape view. So full mobile friendly course developed in 10 minutes with no effort whatsoever. I didn't have to once say landscape, portrait, screen size. design 5 layouts or anything like that. Now that's the basics of authoring. There's a lot more to it than just that, but in terms of today's demo, we don't have that much time, so we'll leave it there for now, but we're more than happy to give you all, of course, a full demo. I will just touch on themes and customization, because this is a very popular part of Gomo. So this course has been built using the material design theme. If I wanted to just play around with the look and feel of this course, I can go to its settings and pick the theme. If I wanted this course to look like a Burberry course, or Nike Converse, Federal Reserve Bank, or Volvo, I could just pick one of these other themes. Of course, as a customer, you don't see all of these. It's because I'm me, I can see all of our customers' courses. But you also get very powerful theme customization capabilities within Gomo. So whether you have a custom theme built by us, or whether you just take the standard themes, this is the material design theme. It's very garish and colourful, so maybe I'll just tone the colour scheme down a little bit here with my colour pickers, like so. And I think I'll copy that colour there and maybe just sort out the buttons. So I'll have the main colour for the button like so. And again in here. I'll probably do the same for the header and footer bars. So I'm going away from the Google material design look and feel now. I'm going for something a little bit more muted. On the footer, I'll do that one as well. And then maybe one more change at a global level. I'll just change the default background image across this course. So again, we've got the obviously very vivid yellow and blue Google image. I'm going to go for something a little bit more subtle now, so I'm just scrolling down to my backgrounds folder where I've got some nice images already loaded into Gomo. And I'll scroll down here and we'll go for jetty.jpg. And then further down here, you can see the controls that we've got for fonts and colors and so on. So again, this is fabulous for design consistency. Anybody using this theme, putting a title on the page, is going to come out in Roboto 36 and a very dark blue-black. And that's exactly what we want. We want consistent, good-looking e-learning. We don't want courses where someone's got confused and stuck Times New Roman on page 1 and Helvetica on page 2 and different backgrounds and all of that sort of stuff. So this really is powerful for design consistency and making sure that your brand is adhered to. So if we just go back to the preview window now and hit refresh, and if any of you got this course on your smartphone or tablet, just hit refresh on your browser now and you'll see the design changes that I just made coming through. So the course will reload and we'll see how it looks now, and it's far more subtle. I've gone for this sort of dark blue color scheme here and nice images, nice jetty view in the background. So I've rebranded a course in an instant there. I could have rebranded 100 courses in that same sort of time period because themes are global and themes are separate from content. So it's that quick and easy to rebrand courses. Okay, that's enough on the authoring side. When you've finished building your course, you can then hit the publish button and publish it to Gomo Hosting and Analytics. And I'll show you Gomo Hosting, and this is where you distribute courses to your learners. We'll have a look at a number of the different distribution methods that we talked about at the top. Let's say you're targeting an LMS. We've then got the LMS wrapper distribution. And I mentioned at the beginning, this is used by people like Volvo and Burberry to dynamically update content in their LMS in seconds. Here's a course that we use to test this. It's called LMS Demo in the middle here, and it's 41.33 megabytes. In most authoring tools, that would mean a 41 megabyte download file to your LMS, a 41 megabyte upload to your LMS, SCORM, zip, FTP, and eventually the course gets into your LMS. And of course, immediately the phone rings, wrong video, typing mistake on page 5, fix the course, rezip, rescorm, re-FTP, republish. But with this course here, it's set to LMS wrapper distribution. If I download the LMS package for that course, boom, there it goes. Show you it in my folder. and it's 13 kilobytes. So that's what the initial upload to the LMS, 13 kilobytes instead of 14 megabytes. And of course, once it's in there, I can update it dynamically from Gomo. And I get all of these deep and rich insights. I get the analytics data you're seeing here. I can see what device people are on. I can see which individual questions and answers they got right and wrong. So all of that's fully supported in Gomo. That's one way to get content into the hands of learners. Next is the anonymous access route, which is our direct access. So this particular course, very popular, it's had nearly 2,600 launches. And this one is actually embedded into the Gomo Learning website. How did we get it into the Gomo Learning website? Well, it's set to direct access. There's the embed code. I just copied that and gave it to my webmaster. He dropped it in and the course was in the page, and here are the direct links. So if I want to email this course to somebody, tweet it, Facebook, LinkedIn, or anything, I just copy that link, drop it into my email, and I can paste it and send it over to them. So that's for direct access on things like social media, websites, and so on. The last method we'll show you that, again, a lot of our retail customers are using is Gomo Central. You get all of these distribution methods with Gomo. So Gomo Central is our mini learner portal. This is something you can set up and brand and allow learners to log in and consume your courses. A good example of this is Jaguar Land Rover, who've been using this for their pre-induction. So most of their e-learning goes through their corporate LMS, but for pre-induction, people don't have a Jaguar Land Rover email address. They can log in to Gomo Central and consume the courses, and Jaguar Land Rover can track who they are. So you can brand it up with your logos, colors, and icons, and so on. You can set up folders in here. You can set up user groups. And if I launch my Gomo Central, this is what mine looks like, and I'll just log in very quickly as Freddie at the Alcocks here. Time to change his password, and I'll show you the learner journey. So you log in through your browser, you click on the course you want to run, and that will fire up and you're now in a course session. And I'll very quickly just go through the quiz here just to show you the level of analytics data that we're automatically tracking with Gomo. So I'm going to jump into this course and we'll go into the quiz, and it's our Know All quiz. So we'll accept the challenge on behalf of Freddie here. Where's that pub? It's my local. It was opened in the 12th century. Always amuses our American cousins there that we have a pub that was opened in the 12th century. How do you access Gomo? It's via a web browser. Correct. Who's our culture vulture? We'll say it's Dale and confirm, and again that's correct. And then, so that was incorrect. And the last question is, how does Gomo look on an iPad? It looks perfect, of course. So the results are in and we got 75%. So Freddie has finished. He can exit the course now. He's done the course, and he can log out of Gomo Central. But if we go back to our projects view and go and have a look at the latest data on that course, which was there, first thing we see is the analytics dashboard. So we can see the latest user and device type analysis, activities report. We can see exactly what Freddie was up to. So he logged into Learning Solutions, he experienced the main menu, he answered questions 1 and 2 correct, 3 was wrong, 4 was correct, and he scored 75%. You get that level of analytics however you consume your courses. So it's absolutely possible to really drill down and see exactly what your learners are doing, see which questions they're struggling with, and hopefully improve their learning outcomes. Okay. Let's go back to my presentation. That was the end of the demo, and it's now time to open things up. We're coming up towards getting close to towards the end of the session. So hopefully Tom is there. And Tom, have we had any questions that you could share with me, and hopefully we can answer for the people on the call?
Hi, Mike. Yeah, we've got quite a few questions actually, but Hugh and I have been kind of going through and picking out the best ones. So Frank asks, can you please elaborate on how the multi-language course works in the tool?
Ah, okay, yes, we did mention that at the top, but I didn't actually go into it, did I? Oh, yes, the way multilingual works is you build a single SCO, um, and you choose your languages, and then I'll just launch this project here. So this is the student view of the world. Choose your languages. Typically, the workflow is you build your course in your default language, which is, let's say it's English. So you'll build the English language course, but you may have also picked, in this case, French and Chinese. You will hit the export to XLIF button. That strips out all of the text from the course. That goes off to a translation agency. They will translate it and give you back your XLIF files with the French and the Chinese text in. You import it back in, and you've instantly got a course with 3 languages. From a learner perspective, you can give them a language selector, and they can change content on the fly. And watch when I do this, the whole course doesn't reload, it just loads up the new language versions of the text. But also we can localize. You can see here, if you look at the image and I go to the Chinese layer of this course, it flips over to the pagoda. So as well as changing the text, we can change things like images, audio, video. So you can have a single course with 5 languages, but the Chinese learner gets the Chinese video, the Chinese voiceover. The French learner gets the French video, the French voiceover. So from a single authoring effort, one course with as many languages in as you need.
All right, great. Thanks, Mike. And another one, Alice asks, she says, I've seen quite a few tools that state that they create responsive design. Could you elaborate a bit on what makes Gomo's output different?
Sure, I'll just blast through, great question, thank you for that. Blast back through my slides here to show you this particular one. The content on the left is Gomo content, and that's responsive. And by responsive, we mean it adapts and responds to the changing device and browser conditions and fills the screen. So you can see that course on the left, it's a Gomo course, it's full screen on a mobile phone, on a smartphone. The product on the right, I won't name and shame it, but that's another e-learning tool that says it's got responsive capabilities. It absolutely has not. This is not responsive. Squishing a PowerPoint slide into a third of a smartphone display does not make you a responsive authoring tool. It makes you a squishing down content so it's too small to read tool. So that's, you know, you wouldn't embarrass yourselves by putting out a website that looked like this if you're a famous retailer trying to sell retail products. So why on earth would you create e-learning that's as bad as this? It's not good learning design, it's not responsive. So Gomo is responsive HTML5, one authoring effort, and it will play back on any device, any screen size, in any orientation, and that's true responsiveness. And again, it's worth going past the hype and having a look under the hood at the outputs from other authoring tools, because a lot of them say they're responsive and they're not. And some of those that sort of actually almost do it, you're still going to end up designing 5 versions of the same course because they force you to build a desktop version first, and then you shrink down some, pull in some toolbars to make it the size of a phone, and then manipulate everything so it fits on the screen of the phone. Again, not really responsive in the truest sense of the word.
All right, great. David asks, is there a way to make sure that people actually take the learning and don't just click through all the screens?
Yes, absolutely. We've got a concept called display conditions, very powerful capability of Gomo, and we can control whether things like the navigation tools appear or whether the next interaction appears, all based on what the learner's doing. So, for example, if you're in a quiz, you might have to answer the question before you can click the next button, or you might have to answer the question and get it right before you can click the next button. So very powerful concept of display conditions to control access to content.
Great, thanks. Got a couple more here. Zamir says, we have learners all over the world. How is performance on distributing your courses through your hosting services?
Thank you for that. Yes, another good question. We hope we've got you covered there because Gomo is hosted in its entirety on Amazon, AWS, Amazon Web Services. So, you know, the best, fastest, most powerful servers in the world are serving up content, and from the distribution platform, we use the Amazon Content Delivery Network, CDN, called Amazon CloudFront. And basically, the way that works is, the first time you open a course in a far-flung part of the world, it might be a little bit slow, but the CDN will actually spool up locally and take a copy of the course and distribute it locally. So the next time you run up, you'll have blistering performance anywhere in the world through the use of Amazon's technologies.
That's great. I know we've got just maybe one more minute or so, so I have two more very
Yeah.
quick questions.
Sure.
Natalia asks, you mentioned YouTube. Can we incorporate other third-party content in here besides YouTube, like Google Maps, for example?
You can indeed. In fact, you can incorporate just about anything that lives on the internet. So YouTube is an obvious one. Lots of people do that just to because the videos are already there and it's so easy just to link them in. But yes, Google Maps is another great one. If you're going to do our offices and our locations page in your e-learning, don't just scan in a scabby old PDF. Have a live feed from Google Maps with the Street View and everything else learners would need to get to your offices. So Google Maps, 3D imagery, interactive video, almost anything, as long as it lives on the internet and is responsive, will go perfectly into Gomo via the iframe asset.
All right. Okay. One last one. This will be a perfect way we can end this. Cliff says, I was late for the presentation. Can I get a copy of this somewhere?
Yes, absolutely. We will be sending out a follow-up email to everybody that signed up, either whether you attended or not, and there will be a link to this recording. So yes, you'll be able to sit back and watch this at your leisure. On that note, I think we're at the end of the hour now, so it just remains for me to say thank you, first of all, Tom, for doing the introductions and also for monitoring the questions and giving those out at the end. Thanks also to Hugh, who you've not heard from, but he's been online beavering away and answering your questions if you were asking them as well. Our contact details are on the page, so I'm Mike Alcock, mike.alcock@gomolearning.com. I'm based in the UK and look after most of the rest of the world, and Tom, who's been talking today as well, looks after our North American and American operations. And either of us would be delighted to talk to any of you after this event if you're interested in a full demo and learning more about Gomo. So thanks again to Tom and Hugh, but also thanks, of course, to everybody on the call today. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate you taking an hour out of your day to have a look at Gomo. We hope it's been a useful and informative webinar, and we look forward to speaking to you all again very soon. So thank you and good day.